My friend, welcome to the world's best kept secret podcast, the podcast that shows spiritual entrepreneurs how to clarify their message and then how to turn that clarity into revenue. I'm your host, Prima Jope, a mentor and message expert since 2020. Whether you seek to simply clarify your message or feel ready to monetize your brilliance, this is your safe space for actionable guidance and practical tools on how to turn your woo into predictable revenue. Let's get started, shall we? I am so excited for today because today we're going to talk about the thing that holds most entrepreneurs back: imposter syndrome, limiting beliefs, feeling like you're not good enough, feeling like your message is not needed, feeling like you're not qualified to do what you do, lack of confidence, not knowing where you're going. Lack of clarity is one of the things that kill entrepreneurs. And today we're going to talk about it. I'm going to talk about a method that I haven't heard of in a long time called brain spotting. It's the first time I'm hearing about this method. I am excited for the innovation, excited for the expert Jannie, and we're going to really be talking about how to step into your power as a business owner and market what you do without any apologies. Like how to step into your power and be your own powerhouse, if you will. How to drop like all that fear, all that angsty, all those feelings of, oh my God, the camera and all of those things, and how to become one of those people that market their business like there is no tomorrow. Okay? Welcome to the show. And if you are watching this for the very first time, listening to me for the very first time, I am Prima and I am desperate to take every best kept secret and share their message with the world. Whether you're looking to share your message or you're looking to grow your business or you're looking to get clients or you're really looking to work your things, like you're looking to work on your blog so you can step into whatever the thing you do, that is the work that I love to talk about. I am convinced at this point that business is only an extension of you and that it is really a game of personal growth. Whether it's a personal growth that you're looking to take care of or the business principles, I'm all about it. Okay? Let's jump in. Today is a day for Jannie Hayes. Jannie, welcome to the show. I am so honored.
Oh, I am so honored. I'm so looking forward to this. You have such a bright energy, and I think we're going to have a lot of fun today.
Whew, I feel it in my bone marrow. Tell me what I forgot when I was bringing you on that is so important to introducing the work you do.
Oh, the work that I do, what's so important about it? I think you hit the nail on the head.
Mm-hmm.
I feel that there's really two pieces that every entrepreneur has to have down
Mm-hmm.
to make an impact on the world. One of them is message, because you got to know what to tell people. The other
Mm-hmm.
one is the guts to do it, the clarity, the the knowledge that people do want that message. And that's where I come in, is those things that keep you from stepping up and stepping out into the world.
Mm.
We can fix them so fast. It's almost, I had somebody tell me one time, she goes, you can't advertise that because the BS factor is too high. Nobody's going to believe that in one 50-minute session, you
Mm.
can fix something that people have been working on for years.
Mm.
But you can, and it's amazing and it's fun. I love it.
Mm. I love what Jenny is talking about because the internal blocks are real. It's like we all have this internal war going on. There's this thing which you want out there. You want to create your message, impact people, change your life, be in an amazing marriage. And then there's all these internal things that keep you from that thing. And I feel like step number one is being aware that you might have them. And step number two is knowing what they are. And step number three is being in a place where you are okay to release them. Because a lot of people hold on to them and hold on to them until they take their own books to the grave. And so I am really excited that you're coming up and helping people break through the imposter syndrome, break through the fear of being judged, and stepping into their whole message. Because knowing your message is one thing, stepping into the message is another one. Knowing what
Mhm.
you're trying to give the world is one thing, embodying that thing and people feeling like they can feel it from you is another thing. And so I really love this conversation because there's a difference between knowing, wanting to do something, and actually being that thing. And for us to be that thing, it's like we have to dissolve some internal things which we may not even see. We have to get rid of them. I am from Uganda, like a country with like people are starving for water and food. And growing up, I knew what I knew. My dad taught me his code, and his code said you have to go to school and you have to get the best grades and you have to be in university and you have to find a good man and you have to get married. You have to have kids and that was my dad's code. I have to literally disentangle this code and make my own code. I have to create my own reality. Otherwise, based on all the codes I was taught, my money beliefs can feel like a sack. You know, I have all these beliefs around can't do this, can't do this, can't do this. And every step I take forward, something is coming after you. Like, are you sure you can do that? I'm
Yeah,
like, watch. I'm like, what? Like, I've got to a point where I'd be like, watch me because I have seen myself move from here to there, to there, to there. And every time I take a step, there is a block coming up. Yeah. Are you
yeah,
sure? I'm like, watch me, watch me, watch me. So I am so excited for the work you do because I have done some of it, but not consciously. Like,
right.
not consciously. So I would love for us, Jenny, to dive into how did you make the pivot? When did you decide to do this brain spotting? And the beauty of it is like we're not going to be doing therapy stuff. We're not going to be reliving the past. It's like, okay, maybe it's 1 hour, maybe it's 2 hours, maybe it's 30 minutes, and bye, go move forward, like take the next step, which can be something that is not easy for people to believe. But what I would
Right.
like for us to do is walk people through how this works and what it doesn't need forever. But I would like to first understand, when did you decide to pivot to this thing and what had happened for you?
Well, I was exactly where you were, except I didn't have the watch this.
Mm,
I had a lot of limiting beliefs. I had a lot of things in my brain that were, you can't do this, you're not good enough if you do this. One of them specifically for me is because I'm a licensed paramedic. And so, since I'm a paramedic in Texas, I
mm,
can lose my license if I say the wrong things. And my initial business 5 years ago was helping women with insulin resistance and pre-diabetes. And so I found I was always walking on eggshells. Well, I can't say this, I can't say this, I can't be who I really am.
mhm,
And I see that in so many other people. And so I would get to the marketing part because I was a good coach. I bought all the programs.
mm,
That's the first thing you do when you say, I'm going to be a coach. Okay, I need to find a coach, right?
mhm,
And I learned a lot, but I'd get to the marketing part and I wouldn't do it. I would
mm,
shut down because I
mm,
was unclear. I had a lot of imposter syndrome going on. It was like, well, I'm not a physician, so I really can't speak to this. Or, I'm not a scientist, and so I can't speak the way that the people that I follow do. Or, why do people want to hear from me? Will they really pay this much? All the things that are probably bouncing around in your head right now.
mm,
Um, and so I had tried to work this business without actually embodying the business, like you
mm,
mentioned, for
mm.
about 3 years when my husband said, You've got to get a job. I had made $267.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's not counting the thousands and thousands that I had spent on programs.
Mm,
So I get the job. I'm still working on the insulin resistance. I'm now doing coaching for therapists who are starting and scaling their practices
mhm,
and doing accountability coaching. And the owners of the business had noticed kind of the same pattern that I was in with all of these thousands of therapists that they work with. They get to a certain point, and whether it be the money, I'm not worth charging this, I can't ask for this much money, or the marketing, or just being able to step into who you are and claim your dream.
Mm.
And so they found brain spotting, and so they taught us all brain spotting. And I knew immediately it was powerful just from the training, but the first time I actually did it on a client
Mm-hmm.
blew my mind. So before we get into the what happens, the results, let's talk about what brain spotting is, because nobody
Mm-hmm.
really knows. I had somebody tell me, sounds like they're having an aneurysm. So no. Brain spotting is a cousin to EMDR. So EMDR, for those that know it, will go, oh, okay. For those that don't, it's a therapy that is used for people who have PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, where, maybe they've gone to war or they've had a horrible trauma happen to them and it's
Mm-hmm.
affecting their life. And so they use the eyes and the body to find the memories, relive the memories, and then store the memories long term so that way they no longer interfere. Because what happens is when we experience something, it
Mm-hmm.
comes into our body through all of our senses,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then it comes up into our limbic brain, the lizard brain. And that part of the brain has to decide, if I store this in long term,
Mm-hmm.
am I risking killing myself? Because, is this an important issue that I need to be on the watch for in the future?
Mm.
Now, if you were in war and someone is aiming a gun at you, you may want to hold on to that in the active fight flight part of your brain because you
Mm.
want to be able to react to it. But the reality is that we also hold on to some of those smaller things. Mom
Mm.
and dad fighting over money when we were a kid. For me, and my dad doesn't even remember it, and because I'd asked him about it, but I was singing in the car one day when I was a
Mm-hmm.
kid, and he
Mm-hmm.
said, "We don't need a concert." And so what my brain did was tell me, I'm not worth being heard.
Wow.
That is not even close to what my dad meant. He just didn't want to hear me. So we can take those things, and our limbic system, that part of the brain that the fight and flight goes,
Mm.
you know what? I need to hold on to this because that hurt me and I don't want to get hurt again. The
Mm.
problem is it leaks out, and it leaks out by showing up as that imposter syndrome, the procrastination, those limiting beliefs.
Mm.
Now, if our limbic system says, hey, you know what? All we're looking at is the color of shirt we wore last Thursday, then it'll automatically put it in long-term memory because it goes, this isn't going to affect us one way or another, which is why you don't get a gut feeling when you think, oh, what color did I wear last Wednesday? It doesn't matter. And so
Mm-hmm.
what brain spotting does is it allows those open memories that are still circulating in that limbic system
Mm.
to move into long-term memory, but you don't have to relive them.
Mm.
Unlike EMDR and talk therapy and a lot of these therapies where you have to relive the trauma, sometimes even mindset practices. So, Marissa Peer, I love her, absolutely love Marissa Peer, but she actually takes you on a timeline journey. And so
Mm.
you have to go back in time to find the memories, to relive them, to try to process them. And it can take a lot of time.
Mm.
Brain spotting, since we don't have to recall the exact memory, it happens like that. We're talking a 50-minute session moves most people into action. It's crazy.
Okay. Did you say 15 or 50?
50, less than an hour.
Okay. So let me see if I understand what you're saying. Traditional therapy, EMDR, whatever the thing is, most of that practice is you reliving the memory and somehow trying to maybe change what interpretation you give it, or it's a process where you have to go back find the memory, relieve the memory for you to be able to probably do something with it.
Mhm.
Whether that's storing it away or heal it, whatever. It's like you have to go find it, relieve it, and maybe I don't know, make a decision what it want, what it should mean or whatever. But what you're saying is with time therapy, we don't have to remember what it was. We don't
Yeah.
have to relive the thing. We just have to do something with it. So help me understand here if I am feeling imposter and I just can't get myself to market, probably can't get myself to ask for money, probably can't get myself to see how I could charge more. And all of that is resulting from a fight that I watched when I was a baby. And I
Mhm.
don't even know that that is what is happening. So
Right.
walk me through like what does it look with the brain spotting? Like how would that look if I don't even know why I feel the way if I haven't been to therapy to work on this thing and I don't even know it's there.
Right. So,
Mm,
and that's really where a lot of people are when they come into brain spotting. All they know is they're stuck. That's the word I hear over and over again. I'm
mm-hmm,
stuck. And so, what you would do is, well, first we would do a consult to make sure that it's going to be right for you. And then we do an intake so that I get all the good information I need. But the brain spotting session itself, you're going to come in and we're going to talk about why you're stuck. Where are you stuck at? What what feels bad about it? And we're going
mm,
to start to locate where you feel it in your body. Now, if you can't feel it in your body, don't worry. I have some exercises to help you do that. Okay.
mm,
So we're going to find it in your body and then we're going to keep agitating it a little bit. I really like to get it about a 6 out of 10. Zero being you don't notice it at all, 10 being, oh my gosh, I can't take this. So just a little over midway. Then we're going to find your brain spot. So your eye tissue and your brain tissue is very similar.
mm,
And we store memory in 3D. And if you doubt that, I want you to think about the last time that you were in traffic and someone pulled in front of you. Or, most people are going to go and they're going to look one way or the other. That's
mm,
because you're looking for the memory. Okay. So we use that to find where the memory is stored, 3D, and
mm,
your eyes will stare at that point. And that will become your brain spot. That'll become your anchor. So anytime that you need to bring that emotion back up, you'll look at it. If you need relief because it's too overwhelming, you can look away. So now we've got your brain spot, we've got the feeling. Now we just tap into the feeling and we listen. Sometimes those memories will come back. They will pop up and you'll go, oh, I see this, and this is what I'm feeling, and this is what I'm thinking. Sometimes you'll get words, sometimes you'll get pictures, sometimes you just follow the feeling. It
mm,
truly is about allowing the emotion to happen. And I'm there with you. So through this, I am reassuring you. I'm coaching you to make sure that you're doing the things you need to do. But I'm also there as what we call external regulation. Now, what the heck is that?
mm,
So it's something that regulation is something that we are not born with. All right. When we are babies, we don't know how to regulate our emotions. And we see this in babies that are learning to walk.
mm,
So if you've ever seen a baby toddling, trying to get this thing down, and then they fall on their butt, what's the first thing they do? Who's looking and how are they reacting?
mm,
Because they're going to borrow your emotions. If you're upset, they're going to start wailing and crying. If you
mm,
are calm and laugh, they're going to laugh.
mm,
So that's what I'm providing during the brain spotting is I'm that external regulation, reminding that limbic part of your brain that's
mm,
worried that if it does this, it's going to kill it,
mm,
that it's safe. You're
mm,
okay. You're in a safe place. And I never let somebody leave a session in a bad place. Most of them wouldn't anyway. So we start following the emotion, and what we see is about halfway to three-quarters of the way through, there's usually this realization. And it's not the memory per se. It's not like, oh, I understand now that my mom and dad fought about it and it's not about me. Usually
Mm-hmm.
it's something much simpler. It could be that you realize, you know what? The fear of taking money isn't mine. I don't need to hold on to it anymore. Or um, you know what? People can afford what they can afford, and it's just a priority. Or whatever the magic is for your brain. There's no way to predict it. And so
Mm-hmm.
that's part of the fun for me is we get to that point and it's like I get to see how your brain has shaped everything and it's like, oh, this is how it clicks. And all of a sudden it goes from a very dark, almost I've had people say it felt like I was complaining in the beginning. So it feels like almost you're just complaining, complaining, clicks, and then everything just kind of falls into place.
Mm-hmm.
And so then we continue the journey, we continue watching, making sure everything's integrated. Um, and then I ask for takeaways. I always give homework because I'm a coach and that's what we do, right? We love homework.
Mm-hmm.
Usually I'll have you revisit the either the break points or something that's relevant. And then we meet again in 2 weeks. And here's something that else that I find fascinating is
Mm-hmm.
that sometimes in that 2 weeks, even though I sat there and watched the revelation happen, the person kind of forgets what all was said because you're not really in your brain, you're in your body.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll say, I don't know what happened, but since I saw you, I've been doing this and this and this and this and this and this and this has taken off and I've done this and I'll go back, I'll say, okay, hold on a second. Let's look and see oh, see right here, this is where you said that. So I had someone that I is a coach, and she was very confused about what direction to go with
Mm-hmm.
her marketing. And I'm going to pause one. She was very confused about the direction to go with her marketing. And so we brain spotted it. And in the very beginning, as she's starting to get that revelation, she says, the answers are in my book.
Mm-hmm.
Just we kept going and all that. And then when I met with her 2 weeks later, she said, I don't even know if the brain spotting helped, but I'm got my ads up on Facebook and I'm doing this and I've got this group that I've started and here's what's going here. And I have 7 chapters of my book written. And I don't know if that has anything to do with brain spotting or not, but I just feel like I have got it, that the book is leading the way. And I said, hold on, let me read that to you. And I read back to her what she had said, and she was like, oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
So
I
that's why
love
the so important.
I love this process. I have a similar process I take people through when they get angst around doing the
When
things they want to do. Like if someone is coming to me because they need help, and then we identify their problem, we identify the obstacles, and we're like, okay, this is the plan, and they're excited. And then I'm like, this is the investment. Now they drop into something.
Mhm.
They have the fear, whatever the fear is, and they just come up with, I need to think about it.
Mhm.
And I have lost so many sales to that I had to figure out how to get people from that box of I need to think about it to a place of peace where they can either hire me or no, but allowing them to process that from a place of peace. And it
Right.
almost sounds like your process, only we don't have the brain spore. It's like really feeling into the feeling and allowing it to exist until it dissolves itself, like loving on the feeling, like really treating it like a little
Yeah.
baby and cuddling it until it goes to sleep. And off of that, they're like, okay, now I'm very clear. I have zero fear. So like resolving that from like a 10, and they're like, I'm at a 2. Oh my God. Now like I understand the process. What I don't understand is the brain sport part. So
Mhm.
let's say the I just can't get myself to go live. And I
Mhm.
desire to go live. And possibly it would be my thing if I wasn't thinking maybe my sound is bad or my face, I don't know what the thing is there. But I can't get myself to market, whether that's to go live or whether that's to put an offer out. Like I can't get myself to say, hey, this is how I can help you. Give me money. If that
Right.
is dog, help me understand the part of identifying the brain spot because it's still foggy for me.
So foggy. Okay.
Yeah.
So I want you to take a moment and I want
Mm-hmm.
you to think of something in the last week or so where that was emotional for you, whether it be a fight with your spouse, with your kids. I just moved from the Austin area, so I usually pull up traffic because it's emotional, but it's not so deep. It's not like somebody dies. We don't want to get into that. So really kind of get into that for just a moment.
For
And when you
me,
have
it's
that
like
moment,
when I go to my list and I
mhm,
noticed there have been people sat there for a month and automation stuff didn't work. And I'm like, this automation stuff, I can't figure it out. Don't know it. It's frustrating. I tell my husband, please help. And it's like, I've
okay,
helped. And then I check later, and like 2 months later, this person has never got an email from me. Why? It's like, I don't know, the
okay,
system didn't work. And I'm like, this is frustrating. And in the back of my head, I'm like, this automation stuff is not Prima stuff. And it's just there. It's there. Like I know that this automation stuff, backend, email this, sequence this. Like I'm like, okay, please, it's not Prima. Like I have told myself it's not Prima stuff, but it gets me frustrated each time it's not working. So maybe
hmm,
that's a good block to
yep.
kind of
So that frustration, do you feel it in your body? Where do you feel it?
check in my heart.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I want you to open your eyes and I want you to feel that frustration. And I want you to look over to your right with just your eyeballs.
Mm-hmm.
And I want you to look over to your left with just your eyeballs. Is it worse on one side or the other? Feeling that
I don't.
frustration. Things aren't working. The system isn't working. You're doing everything you can. It's just not working. I noticed when you were talking about it, you were looking to the right and up.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's probably where we would start to see if it's your brain spot.
Mm.
Because what it does is usually it intensifies it.
Mm. I would need to be living that moment though for me to feel the angst or something. Because right now, imagining it, I think is harder for me than being in the
Oh,
moment. Yeah.
and you're also right now in a leadership role and not a receptive role. And that's a
Mm.
difference too. When you're coming into a brain spotting session, you are in a receptive role because you're
Mm-hmm.
coming in to get healing,
Mm-hmm.
whereas your focus right now is on creating a beautiful podcast for
Mm-hmm.
your wonderful audience.
But I also don't mind because my audience are probably like me. And if I have a brain spot around automation, I'm happy to go down
Mhm.
that road and resolve it. Like I
Yeah.
don't mind. I don't care to know automation because I don't. I don't care to know brain
Okay.
spotting because I don't. So if there was a way to show
So
them
yeah. So
practically, I
take
think that would really be cool because I don't really care to
so
to know it
so
or know.
sit for me and take a breath. I want you to relax a little bit, okay? I want you to
Okay.
really get into that moment when you're frustrated, you're talking to your husband about the automation. This is not working. I don't understand why it's working. I think I'm doing everything I can. Is there something wrong that I'm not doing? Okay? And we're going to do it the old-fashioned way. I'm going to grip my pointer
Okay.
out. And so really get into that and be thinking about, is there a time you lost a client because of that? There's always those potential clients, but did you lose a client? Did you lose a contact because of it? Is it just the fear of losing them?
It's really for me, it's the I could be helping these people and I am not because I can't get the email out.
Okay. So I
Yeah.
want you to look at this. Does that feel like it's pretty much centered in the screen?
Yeah.
Okay. Still thinking about that feeling in your
Mm-hmm.
heart. Okay. With your
Mm-hmm.
eyes open.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to have you just follow this with just your eyes. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to come over here and I want you to let me know. You may have to go off the screen. Yeah, it's going to go off the screen really quickly for you. Let's see. Scoot way back. All right. So still feel centered?
No, it's
No.
going on. Hmm.
Yeah, it's going to the side. Does it feel centered?
Yeah.
Uh, okay. And then just keep following it as it goes off the screen.
Hmm.
Imagine it. Is that worse or better? Is there any difference at all?
I'd rather see it.
But I'm talking about this the sensation that you're feeling.
Mm.
Worse, better, or any change at all?
Same.
Same.
Hmm. So like when you get to the sides, it goes with it. And when you bring it to the center, it intensifies with it. So I don't know what to think about that.
So when it gets to the sides at what?
It's like it's reducing in intensity, but when you come to the center, it comes back. So I don't know.
Okay, so it's stronger in the center.
Hmm.
Okay. Is it stronger here in the middle or as we go up
Stronger as where it was the strongest.
in the center here?
Yeah.
Okay. So your brain spot happens to be right in the center. Sometimes it'll be to one side or the other.
Hmm.
Uh, but so what we would do is we would use that as the anchor. And if it got too
Mm.
intense, I would have you look away from that
Mm.
center. Okay. And what that does is it actually accesses where in the brain that memory is stored. You don't have to understand what the memory is.
Mm.
What was the memory that set you up for all this? Now, frustration with tech, it could just be frustration with tech. But I had a client that was horribly frustrated with tech to the point she was afraid of it. And
Mm.
we did brain spotting, and she had her website up shortly thereafter. She had her email list going. So it's possible to get over the fear. Would she still get frustrated? Yeah, but she wasn't afraid of it anymore.
Mm. That's
It
really
didn't,
good.
yeah, it didn't stop her. And I don't think technology stops you. You're doing a podcast, but if it does, we can certainly brain spot it.
It doesn't stop me, but it frustrates me when I can't get things flowing for people who need my help. I feel like I'm
Yeah,
not serving when I'm not. I feel like I need the ability to just let people get, help whether I work or not. And I kind of feel like every time I have to keep chipping in and something is not working, and I'm like, I not
yeah.
fix it, you know?
So it could be that brain spotting on that feeling of responsibility
Mm.
for others might be helpful because there may be a realization in there that you can only do what you can do
Mm.
and that you're going to keep trying and you're going to put every effort forward. But, you know, I know that you are, Christian and faith-based. And so, God has control. And he's not going to let the person that really needs you the most miss out.
Mm. Yeah, I know for sure because I somehow have a way to just do without the tech, but sometimes I feel like the tech may be nice and easier for people. But for sure, I have a way out. When you go to my website, everything goes to a Google Doc, and through that Google
Yeah,
Doc, they request to join. I get their email, and we start there. So yeah,
yeah.
I
But
like
like,
what you said that it may be a block, but it may also just be frustration with tech.
yeah. And
I
and
like
I'll be
that.
honest, when we one of the reasons I love doing the consults is because
Mm.
not every problem needs to be brain spotted. I
Mm.
love doing brain spotting, but I want to bring value to you. I want to make your life better, and it wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
do me any good to brain spot why you have trouble with Zoom hooking up. It's like, okay, no, it would actually probably be better for us to take time to figure out where the resource is that you need to find what you need.
Mm.
So I'm not a hard sale. I'm not one of those people. I have found that loving people
Mm-hmm.
uh, makes them want to work with you,
Mm.
and it makes it so much more fun.
Yeah, just really loving on people and wanting the best for them.
Yeah.
Wow. Brain spotting. So Tell me about so this thing that you have, maybe it's imposter syndrome, maybe it's the fear of camera, maybe it's the fear of tech, like Prima here, maybe I don't know. You have something about technology and automations, and you're like, okay, I don't like this thing. And it's a brain spot and it goes away. So tell me more about when you say it goes away, what does that mean? Is it resolved? Is it settled? Is it locked away in a box? What's happening that
Yeah.
someone
So let
who's
me
been through maybe therapy for years and years needs to understand? Because I feel like brain spotting can be a very good way to put therapy to the side.
yeah, let me share some results with you. Okay.
Okay. Mm,
So, first of all, my results. I told you I'd spent 5 years trying to build this business that number one did not fit my lifestyle.
mm,
And I couldn't market.
mm-hmm,
Well, I did brain spotting and I am here. That says a whole lot, doesn't it?
mm,
And I ended up shifting my business because my realization was I need to have a business that works with the way that I work. I have a very cyclical pattern to my life, very based on my hormones. I have a week
mm,
that it's a power week, and then I have a week that's just like nothing's going to get done. And then another power week, and then nothing's going to get done. And so it's like, this really doesn't work with coaching for health because it's a constant. You've got to be on top of things all the time. But
mm,
with brain spotting, it was like, I love brain spotting. Why am I not doing that? Right. So that was my realization. And I would say within 24, 48 hours after my session, it was like, oh, this is what I need to do. And I love doing podcasts. I love talking to people. I love networking. That's what I need to do. Um, One of the very first people that I did brain spotting on was a very dear friend of mine, and she actually has or had medical anxiety so bad that she would have a panic attack if she had the
mm,
slightest headache or if her, shoulder hurt. She thought she was dying every time anything happened, and she's been living this way for well over a decade. And it was like, I just learned this. Let's play. Let's try it. Can't hurt. And now she says, when things happen, I
mm,
feel like I should be anxious. I'm just not. I just am not. And she's had some very major things happen since then. She's had a couple positive pap smears, had to have a biopsy. Her mom's had brain cancer. She's had some issues with her children. I mean, just major things. And the panic attacks aren't there anymore. Um, One of the first therapists that I did this on with that company that I work with,
mm,
she just wanted to tell her doctor that she'd opened her private practice. That's all she wanted. And we had done so many mindset things. She was working on it with her private therapist and wasn't getting anywhere. And so we did the brain spotting, and she had her annual that afternoon.
mm,
She got done with the brain spotting, went to her doctor's appointment, told her doctor about her private practice, told
mm,
called and told two other physicians that she's worked with about her private practice, and had a list of 25 other people that she was reaching out to from a previous career. It truly gets you moving forward fast. Um, and Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's not, oh my gosh, you did brain spotting and tomorrow all of a sudden you've got all these clients and you're making $1 million. But you're never going to get to the point where you have the clients and are making the money if you can't do the things you need to do to get there. And
mm.
that's what brain spotting does.
I really like that because I have a similar process. Not the exact, but similar.
Yeah,
So I want to take a moment to explain the point you're explaining because I feel like someone needs to hear it twice. And that is, you may be so scared to market. I have had clients who, every time they thought about marketing, they wanted to throw up.
yeah, that was me.
Might have that angst around selling. Every time you open your mouth to say your price, you almost would rather die. You might have that fear of saying what you want in your relationship because you feel like it's probably gonna go, like, you can't see how it would get better if you started to speak your truth. It may be like you're like me, and maybe your dad or whoever raised you. My dad had a code of the wrong and right. And it might be that that code has now become your operating system. And you're so scared who you would be without the code. It might be that you don't feel worthy of the attention. I had a client whose problem was the fear of the spotlight. What if I get so much attention? Can you imagine?
Yeah.
I worked with a client who did weight loss, and the client she had the fear of losing the weight because she didn't want to get attention from the wrong men. Can you
Yeah.
imagine? When I met my husband, that guy was 44 things on paper, which I had. I created things I wanted in a man. I called it the man shopping list. 44 things. Every birthday, I added 4 things. It took me 5 years to create that list. At one point, I started to become those things on that list because I realized there wasn't anyone on the planet Earth who was going to have them. My husband shows up and he has everything on that list and then more things. And I took 5 days avoiding him because I was like, no way. There has to be something that it doesn't add up. He can't, like, he's just too perfect to be real. Like, I don't think he's a human being. Like, I was like, 5 days, I was avoiding the guy because I desperately wanted something to be wrong with him. You can imagine, I had this list. I waited for 5 years. I wanted the guy, and the guy shows up, and what happens? I wanted to just throw up. Like, okay, no.
We call that fear of success, right?
The fear of getting the thing that you want. And
yes.
So I wanted to explain this. And sometimes it's the fear of rejection. And you're like, if they reject me, I don't know. And sometimes it is all these things that then stop you from doing the things, from writing the marketing, from writing the materials, from going on that podcast, from going and saying, I can help you, let's jump on a call. Like, imagine if you would reduce the fear of doing the things from maybe a 10 to a 2. Imagine if the thought about going live moved from a 10 of I'm going to throw up or I'm going to sweat my way through the Zoom thing to a 2. Oh, I think I can do this.
Or even a 0.
Let's even not aim for 0. Like, imagine if your fear of asking for more money for your services moved from a 10 to just a 3.
Yeah. Even
how
4.
different would life be? How different would your results be? Because really, results is about being clear what you need to do and doing it. So, like, it's really the difference between night and day when it comes to your life and business, because it has the ability to reduce whatever the fear of the feeling you have from like a 20 to a 2. It means you can move. It means you can drive. It means you can do the things that you need to do to get the result. Imagine if you weren't feeling 10/10 and imposter syndrome and you were feeling like a 1/10. Would you go and share your message anyway? Absolutely. If you didn't feel like marketing was so bad that you had to cringe every time you tried to market, and it was like a 2/10, you're like, I don't understand everything about this marketing stuff, but I don't know, who knows? I'll go and market anyway. You know, sometimes it's about even knowing what's happening for you. And so I like this work. I love this work because it's really the difference between night. And I have had people who came to me, they wanted a thing, just like me, want a husband. Husband shows up and I start hiding. And so they come to me, they want help with their message, they want help with whatever. We get to the plan, they love the plan, we get the investment, and now they start. I need to think about it. But really underneath, I want to think about it is the fear. My God, what if the clients finally walk through the door? Oh my God, I am scared. She seems like she has a plan. She seems like she understands my problem. And I am so scared that this breakthrough is coming sooner than anticipated. And it really took me a lot of clients to understand that unless we go through this process and allow the emotion to show up and allow the emotion to exist and hold it and love on it and let it dissolve, that people would understand in their own way of getting the thing
Mhm.
they want. So I really love
Every
the work you do, and I wanted to share that because it is what really this work can do for people. What else needs to be added on that for us to like just do justice to this topic?
You're worth it.
Mm.
You're worth it. Um, all of those voices in your head. So how do you know if those voices are real or not? If you
Mm-hmm.
feel anything in your body when that voice comes in your head and says, you shouldn't be on camera. Your
Mm.
voice is terrible.
Mm-hmm.
People aren't interested in you. You're
Mm-hmm.
not worth that money. No one's ever going to pay you that money. When you hear those voices, if you get a sensation in your body, that is your body telling you that is not real. That
Mm.
is not the truth. Your brain is trying to protect you. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not that your brain's trying to be mean. It is your brain's way of loving on you. But your body says this is wrong. And there are so many ways. There are so many
Mm.
good ways to fix that. I just
Mm.
love brain spotting because it's so fast and powerful and it lasts. So, EFT for people that know that, they'll go, oh, yeah, tapping. So, tapping is a way of accessing acupuncture, acupressure points.
Mm-hmm.
You tap and you say something positive along the way. Works beautifully. But what I found is that it goes away.
Mm.
Brain spotting doesn't go away. Limiting beliefs works. Takes a long time to get there,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to keep doing it. You have to repeat it. You don't have to repeat brain spotting. So you can see there's value in so many different things, but brain spotting is my favorite for those reasons.
I love, 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 love this. I really love, first of all, that we don't need to relive the story. Like, we don't even need to know the story to heal it.
I don't even need to know it. Nope.
I
Doesn't have
love
to.
one session can close a chapter,
Hmm.
maybe two, maybe three. But
Yeah.
compare that to you struggling for years and years. I do have a
Oh,
question for you, Jenny, though.
yeah.
How do I know, like, this is what I have discovered along the way working with people. Some people have like blocks around money. Some people have like preference grinders, so they do not know like their preference. So instead of like selling on the phone, they're selling in DMs and they're frustrated. Some people have like worthy issues. I'm not worthy of attention or whatever. Some people have like real serious wounds that are in the way that were never healed. Some people like me would be like carrying a cord from their father and they're trying to run their life like that and they don't want a result that their father had. Some people, it's like the fear of, I don't know, the unknown, fear of success, fear of rejection, fear of whatever. And so, how give me the process of how someone can vet themselves for this is definitely worth bringing to a brain spotting table, or this is something that I can walk through. Because I've found that some of the things, just the awareness of it was
Mhm.
enough for the person to overcome it.
Right.
The awareness of the possible block. So help me with kind of how someone can vet themselves and go brain spotting session worth it versus, oh, this is a block or whatever this thing is and I need a different thing.
Well, I would say, first of all, if you identify that you have a block and then you're
Mm-hmm.
able to go, oh, gee, now I understand that I had a block, I can fix it. You don't need brain spotting if you fixed it.
Hmm.
The the proof you don't need brain spotting is that you did the thing. So with me, I had trouble getting my website up. Took me 18 months. It was like, why am I taking so long? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
it's just a fear of being seen. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had my website up in a day and a half. That was not something I needed brain spotting for.
Mm.
But to be on the podcast and all of that, I did. And what I had convinced myself, so be careful of this, is
Mm-hmm.
that I had convinced myself that I just kept having that wrong preference. I would take a course and it would be like, you need to get into the DMs and you need to start reaching out to people you know, you need to network. That's just not me. I need to find the right program that's set up the right way where I don't have to do X, Y, or Z.
Mm.
So sometimes it takes somebody else on the outside helping you to determine, is this just a preference thing where, you're
Mm.
an introvert and you just really don't want to do this piece? How can you find something you can do that will bring you forward that you're not afraid of?
Mm-hmm.
Um, or is this brain spottable? And that's why I like to do the consult because I can help you piece that out. And it's a free consult. It's like I said, sometimes it just takes somebody else looking on the outside because I did it for 5 years and I just kept thinking it was a preference.
Wow. So, Jenny, what exactly did you do in the free like session trial, that brain spot trial session where they're coming to you to kind of see if this is
So,
something that
yeah.
qualifies for your table? What do you do in that session? What can we expect from that session?
So the consult is just it's just like this. We're just going to talk about it. You're going to tell me what's going on, where you feel stuck. We're going to explore a little bit. I've got not only 2 years of brain spotting experience, but I've been a paramedic for over 20 years. And so I always say my superpower is reading between the words.
Mm.
And I can usually pick out a block without a problem.
Mm.
Um, so I'm going to be honest. I'll let you know if I think it's something that needs to be brain spotted. And if it's not, then we're going to have a brief talk and we'll have a plan going forward for you. It won't be real detailed, but it'll be, hey, you don't like talking to people. You're trying to do YouTube videos. Don't do YouTube videos. Find something that lets you do you the right way, right? It's not that you're afraid to do them. You just suck at it. Okay, don't suck. Go do something you enjoy.
Mhm.
Um, or it'll be, you're not doing the YouTube videos because you're afraid to, you don't want to be seen, or there's something going on there. Because that really is who you are. You love to talk to people. So let's figure out what the deal is.
I love it. I'd love for you to check the show notes and see if we've dropped a link to have a session with Jenny. Sit with her, see where you're at, see what's coming up for you, and let her analyze, like having a prescription. And if you would like to pay for the prescription, then she's happy to send you the invoice.
Yeah.
But sometimes you can take your prescription and you can run away to the pharmacy. So whatever you want to do is fine. But at least sit with her and see if she can come up with a plan for you. I love people taking sessions, especially with the people that I work with. I love for them to sell a session because sometimes maybe the person is meant to just get that free help and they will just go
Yeah.
take off. Um,
Well, I love connecting with people. So it's not going to be oh my gosh, you're wasting my time. You can't waste my time. You
mm,
cannot waste my time because my time is designed to serve. And I believe that I am brought the people that need to talk to me. And sometimes they go away with a word, sometimes they come in as clients, and there's no negative to either side of that coin. There's really not.
mm.
Because we always have something to give each other, and I promise you're going to give me something that you don't even know you're giving.
I know. I've learned a lot from my clients, from my guests that I didn't even know they gave me. So really
Yeah.
love this. Well, I hope this was insightful for you. I hope it helped you out. And yeah, check the show notes. There'll be a link to connect with Jenny. We'll probably drop her website or we'll probably drop a link to grab the session. Or you probably have a place in her website where you can grab the session. We'll kind of talk through and see what is best. Do you have any kind of assessment quiz, anything?
I do. I've got a what's blocking your success quiz. So it's a simple
Mm.
quiz. And it'll give you an idea of whether we're dealing with imposter syndrome, a lack of clarity. Perfectionism is another way that blocks can show up. And so I've got 6 different ways it shows up, and it'll at least give you some hints and tips
Mhm.
to get you started if you want to take the long, slow way.
Hmm. I love it. So there'll be a quiz, there'll be a website, there'll
Yep.
be a
And
way
it'll
you
be
can
available.
check out Jannie and kind of see where you're at and how to join. I
Yeah.
hope that you take us up on whatever she's wanting to offer. And if you're watching this because you're best kept secret and because you want to raise your blogs, step into your worth and share your message, there is a private community on Facebook on our school called Best Kept Secret. I would love to have you on the inside. We talk all things, stepping into whatever the thing you want to do, releasing whatever is holding you back. We talk about your personal growth as a human being and a leader. And we talk about getting really crystal clear what you're building, that when you get out there, you're the light in the room. The work I do, think about it like this. You can feel ready for a new relationship, but until you've done the work, doesn't matter. You can meet the best guys out there, but until you've become the person that is magnetic to the right person, it doesn't matter. And so taking the right pictures and buying the right clothing doesn't help you get the right partner. What does help you is doing the work you need to do so that it opens up who you are really and what you desire. It doesn't matter how many guys talk to you. If you don't feel worthy of love, you're going to chase it away. It's the same as clients. If you haven't
Mhm.
done the work to step into your own message and feel worthy of sharing it and getting paid for it, doesn't matter what marketing materials we create, doesn't matter what podcasts we go on, doesn't matter how many leads we bring in, it really doesn't matter. And so what we do as Best Kept Secret is all these things that I have personally tried and seen clients go through, and really the things that most people don't seem to talk about that keep us stuck. And internal blocks, that's one of them. I don't do brain spotting. So I was so honored to bring Jenny on because what she teaches, I believe in. I believe that somehow we need to become the person that can get the results. And a part of that is releasing the blocks that are holding us back. And whether you do it with brain spotting or whether you get another modality, my wish for you is that you find a way to allow yourself to get out of your own way by releasing whatever invisible force is holding you to the ground. And however way you want to do it, I am all for you. That's why I have this podcast, and you can go and watch everybody that has come on, and you can choose and select and decide who is going to be your guide. If you feel led, Best Kept Secret community, that's where I do what I do. And I am open to anyone who has a proven way to help people. And so if you're looking for the most talented, you're going to find a lot of people in the community, whether it's collaboration, whether it's doing your work, whether it's getting crystal clear of what you're creating. You're more than welcome. And we celebrate you. Doesn't matter how big your gifts are. We're not intimidated by your gifts. Think about it like a midwife, it's like a place where we help you get birth to your baby, whether it's a baby of 3 kilos or 30 kilos. It's okay.
Jeez.
Yeah. I am sending you all my love and handing you to Jenny to give you her last words of wisdom, and we'll be out of here. I hope this was helpful for you.
Yeah. Don't let fear be the final voice, whether it be love, whether it be life, whether it be business. Don't let fear be the final voice. Let love be the final voice. And you can't sometimes show that love until you get through the blocks.
That is it. That is it for today. Have a beautiful day. Thank you for joining this conversation on the world's Best Kept Secret podcast today. If you feel ready to stop keeping your work a secret, head over to primajope.com and request a free conversation. Until next time, please remember that there's no prize in keeping your work a secret.